One of the things that was kind of fascinating for us to realize was that we are now actually one of the oldest actively touring string quartets in the world, which is kind of remarkable to think about.
As a group, we've been together almost 20 years, so we're almost of drinking age.
One of the hardest things about quartets is finding the right people to play with, and there has to be a musical chemistry, there has to be a level of commitment, which is very important.
Recently, in the last year, we've had Sumi got a new viola and Sumi got her violin. And there's a period where you're still trying to, it's almost like you're playing with a new person. There's a new sound, and you have to figure out how you balance things, how the blend works again. Because really 2 new instruments in a year is a lot.
I have a Tononi from 1710. Of course, you want to find an instrument that really speaks to you individually, but for me it was really important that it fit into our group really well too. I ended up liking the Zayek strings on my violin a lot. I felt like they had enough immediacy to them, but also I could create the color that I wanted to.
And I play on a Carlo Antonio Testori violin made in 1764 and a Charles Picot bow. Been really enjoying trying the prototype Kaplan strings because they have a different type of depthness, which I'm enjoying on my violin, which is actually a darker instrument.
My cello is a Gaspar di Salo from 1580s. For me, I think the thing that I look for in a string is that it speaks. Especially in quartet repertoire, I'm often playing on the lower side, and it's hard to get the clarity sometimes.
I'm using Kaplan's now because I find that it works a little bit better for this new instrument that I have, and I really love the new line. I've been really happy with my new Brothers Amati viola from 1619.
I think that's another thing we thought about when they were looking for instruments. Do you look for a modern instrument? Would that fit into the quartet? And I think it's hard. We tried it a few times, and it's an interesting sound, but I think for us it's worked well to play on these old ones.
It seems to me like this may be a little bit of a golden age, I guess, in new instruments. There just seems to be so many great, violin or string instrument makers, and a lot of the great soloists and quartets are actually opting to play on the newer instruments, and I think it's interesting to see, then if these instruments will actually survive and sound this good in 100 years and all that. So I think it's actually quite an interesting time right now.
I think the dynamic that we have has evolved over time, but it's a collaborative effort. We're always trying to accomplish the same goal, and how you get to that end is, I guess, all the fun of a string quartet, right?